Hello, people. We're going to finish this week on a fantastic note, I hope. Talking about spiritual warfare, we're talking about the aspects of worship in spiritual warfare. It's one of our weapons that we fight this invisible war with, the invisibleness of prayer and of worship. We've spoken about when we do actually have to do something to fight in the valley and make sure that our spiritual warfare has a practical aspect to it. But today I want to end on a glorious thought. You know, every time God reveals himself in Scripture spectacularly, it always ends up with the response of worship by the people. And I begin to wonder that the basis of all of our worship is simply this. In its simplest form, worship is simply a response to who God is. Now remember, when you look back over the Old Testament and you see Isaiah coming into in his vision, he came and he saw God high and lifted up. He saw God as he had never seen him before. And he looked at this and he thought, man, is that who he is? It resulted on him, on his face, declaring himself to be unclean and a man of unclean lips from a generation of unclean people. We have Moses at the burning bush, standing there, hearing the voice of God, revealing himself to Moses. And Moses too ends up on his face, down in the dirt, as he's on holy ground. Whenever you're on holy ground, be prepared to worship, because when God reveals himself to you in a way that maybe you're not used to, man, I got to tell you, that's a place for worship. The reference I would like to take you to is Matthew chapter 14 today. The disciples had been through the storm, Peter had walked on the water, and the disciples had sat there with their eyes wide open as they'd watched their friend and fellow disciple sink, and Jesus restore him, get back into the boat, and there was silence in the boat. Nobody was saying, hey, Peter, what was it like to walk on water? Peter, hey, man, well done, man. You made us feel bad, but that was a really courageous thing you did. Nobody is saying anything. It simply says this. Let me read this to you. In verse 31, let's go from there. Immediately, Peter had gone down into the water. Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. You have little doubt, he said, why do you doubt? And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshipped. They worshipped him, saying, truly you are the Son of God. Truly you are the Son of God. And there's only one place when we're worshiping the Son of God, when he reveals himself as that. Only one response is appropriate: worship. And they worshipped him. They didn't debate with him. They didn't say, well, how did this happen? Wow, how did you do that? They just in awe stood before him and they just worshipped him. When last did you see God like that? Man, it'd be great if we saw him more often, and you can. Every time you read the scripture and you see God reveal himself to somebody, you must know that that could possibly have been you. That when he reveals himself to somebody else, you can put your name in Moses' place, in Elijah's place, and say, wow, that revelation of God should do to me the same thing as it did to Moses, Elijah, and Isaiah, and all those other great saints. It should do the same thing, even though physically it hasn't happened to you. We have a great record of truth here, and God speaks to us through that. I really hope that your response would be appropriate. And there's only one response to an awesome, great God, who's a creator of all things, who's the God of all. He's the G God, the big God, and the little gods around. They fall down at his feet. And so should we. And we worship him, declaring him to be great. Remember, every time God reveals himself in a spectacular way, which is all the time, if you want it to be, it engenders from us an appropriate response, which is simply worship. Think about that. Have a great day and a good weekend. We'll see you on church. Bye-bye.